If you're looking to add branching dialogue paths to your GameMaker game, there's no shortage of options. You may have heard of Chatterbox by Juju Adams, a branching dialogue solution that simplifies the hardest part, drawing them out. It's an incredibly well thought out system that I've barely scratched the surface on learning, and in the next video we'll explore just what makes Chatterbox so powerful. But what if your game just needs a short, easy method for dialogue? Maybe for something like a shopkeep? Or what if you're looking for even more functionality than other systems and want something customizable? Or what if you have a free half hour, the free game engine GameMaker, and wanted to learn more than you'll ever need to know about structs? In this video, we'll create a shopkeep prototype with branching dialogue paths, a simple solution that's easily expandable. We'll add narration text, choices, functions sort of, and even a little animation, and we'll do it all in under 40 minutes. This is, oh wait, really quickly, if you're into game dev or speedrun style content, please consider giving this a like and sub, it really helps grow the channel. Okay, with all of that out of the way, this is how to make branching dialogue paths in 39 minutes. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to open up GameMaker, select new, game, blank game, give it a project name, and I will start the time as soon as I click let's go. The first thing, let's come into our room here. Whoops. Come into our room here and just rename it to room main. And the size, I think we're doing 800 by 1300. And then just right off the bat here, I'm going to duplicate this. So we're going to call this room shop, I believe. Now we're not actually going to use a shop menu, but that'll give you an idea of how you can build this out yourself. So we do have a few fonts. These come from Google Fonts. This will be font title. The font is Jersey 20 and the size is 60. These are free on Google Fonts for commercial or personal projects. Just make sure you check the license. So we have font text and font title. Both are Jersey 20. And we have, just double check here, font title is size 60, font text is size 30. Okay, I think we're ready to move on to sprites. So this sprite, you can download this on Ko-Fi, link in the description. It's called Sprite Shopkeep Strip 2. And make sure you name it that when you upload it, because that Strip 2 at the end puts it into these two different frames here. So that's really convenient, really nice. We will... I don't know that we use this placeholder, but feels good to have it in there just in case, you know, you forget to drop out the color or anything. We'll make this bright magenta come in with the paint bucket tool. And then we'll notice here the shopkeep does not have eyebrows. So we're actually going to make those and use a controller object to spawn them. So we're going to call this sprite browse. The size is, I believe, 60 by 20. Edit image here, coming again with the paint bucket tool, just make that black. And then we're going to come back here and just make sure that it is oriented to the middle center. And last but not least, we need a cursor. So in these old dialogue-based games, there was usually a little cursor that kind of followed the option that you had chosen. So we're just going to do that here. I'm going to take the closed triangle tool, just, I don't know, just kind of feel it out, you know, try to make one of those little cursors. What, like that? Yeah, I think that's good. And I think that's it. I think we're ready for some objects. So I'm a little superstitious. I like for the first object, if it's a bigger game, to be an initializer object, or in this case, we're going to use a controller object. And I just want to drop that in my room here just to make sure that's the first thing in the room. Then I'm going to create our background object, which has our sprite in it. So this is object BG. We will load, nope, we will load in the sprite, and I'm just going to delete out that mistake. And here we go. So this create, what do we have? A depth probably around 8. Image alpha will be 0 because we'll be doing a fade in effect. I don't think you'll be able to see it on here just because of how quickly it's going to move. Room main, we're going to set the image index to 0. That's the first frame there. Otherwise, image index equals 1. That'll give us another frame on the shop room when we enter that, just to kind of make sure that we can see there's some feedback as to the fact that we've entered another room. So here we have if, and let me zoom in here. If image alpha is less than 1, image alpha plus equals 0.05. That'll give us a little fade in effect. Let's go ahead and drop this in here. do a quick test. Okay, there we go. Perfect. We're not. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and move on to object cursor. We'll come back to object controller. We'll do that at the end because that'll be the biggest thing we have to do. So here I think we just set a depth, a high depth, but not too high, right? We also have these object choice. So yeah, I'll set this placeholder. We're going to use a struct, and the struct for the branching paths will have different choices, obviously, and you may have different numbers of choices. So instead of having to draw out each of those choices by making it its own object, we can load in a text string and just, create the objects, iterate with a for loop until we get the number of options there are for that relevant text block. So here, just draw set font, text. We're going to set the color to white. And we're going to draw the text, X, Y, text string. Next, we have the browse. So just object browse. And this just depth equals 2. Why not? Okay, so back to this object controller here. This is the real brains of this. This is going to hold everything. So the first thing, we're just going to do a really simple enum to control the convo state. So we're going to have like starting, setting, and choosing, right? Starting, we can preload it with data. Setting will be the code that runs through to actually set the new dialogue. And choosing is just when the player is allowed to choose. And yeah, we'll set the convo state here too. We also have a browse state. So I wanted to show an example of animation that you could do using this method. So this is just a really simple. We have a regular, surprised, mad, and it's just going to move the eyebrows up and down depending on the state. And that's just to give an example. If you have animation, you're probably loading them in something like an enum anyways. And then I call this chosen choice here, but I think selected choice would be a better name for it. And that's just whatever choice is selected, at that time. We're going to initialize some variables. So top text is a string, choices is an array, current choices is another array, current label equals no one, and these will just point to places in our struct, and no one gives us a way to initialize like a bunch of different things, right? Now, depending on how many choices you have, you may have to hard code more of these. We could use a for loop to iterate through these. Not really necessary since there are so few of them. And now we have to make the browse, right? So we're just making the browse from this kind of top layer, this create event. It just gives us an easy way to control them. Like here, I'm going to change the image angle. And really quickly, the way that I found this out, like this 355, 147, image angle 13. So I just came in here, dropped no, not a sprite. I dropped the object browse, and then just kind of messed with it a little bit like that. And then right like under where my face is, under properties in this left side window, I can see the position, the scale, the color, and the rotation. So I just took that data and put it into the controller object. Oh, whoops. So I'm going to delete out this object browse. Just some background information into how I did that. Yeah, let's just copy this. And change this to 452. Change this to -20. And I'm going to go ahead and test it now. And hey, look at that. Okay, he's got eyebrows. We are going for it. So up next we have the struct. We're setting convos. Convos is like the highest level, and we're saying this equals this struct, right? Everything else, everything contained within inside of it, this is a struct, right? Structs separate things into a key value pair. So anything on this side of the colon is a key or a label, something like that. And anything on this side of the colon, that's your value, right? That's what that holds. So we can reference it later by finding shopkeep. What is the value for this key? And it'll bring up, get this. Sorry, card just went by. So get this, another struct, right? Shopkeep. And we can just keep doing this. We can keep doing this down the line. Now, what's cool is it doesn't always have to be a struct that it holds, obviously. Oh, whoops, never equals, right? This isn't an equals thing. This is a relationship between a key and a value. So it's not equals like here, it's that colon. So just something to keep in mind. So now we have this key value pair, and it contains a string. Again, there's that equal sign, which is not correct. Now here, sorry. So the keys separated in a struct are separated by a comma. So yeah, I forgot a comma there. It errored. Just something to keep in mind. A lot like enums, right? We did this up here with the commas. Same kind of deal. Yeah, we have top text, which is a string. We have choices, another key, but the value is an array. We have browse state, and browse state, the value is an enum. And just like a dealer's choice one, right? Next action, we'll figure that out later. It's so easy. So here's the real magic of this branching paths kind of system, is that we're going to use the value of this array in choices, and this will be the key that we find if that option is selected. If nice to see you is selected out of choices, then it will find the key for this value, right? And then print this information. So this is kind of long. So I'm just going to try to write it out quickly. Here we have one option. Now we have a second one. Now the important thing, there's two important things to this method. The first is that these have to match perfectly. So probably copy and paste sort of thing. Now, I put this in here, this let's have a look at stuff, just because it feels right, you know, when you have a struct that all of these should contain the same amount of information. If you accidentally try to pull and it's not here, it will error. Although we're not actually going to use this because of this next action is room shop. We're going to go straight from what's for sale straight into room shop by having this next action perform down the line before the rest of this stuff. And you'll see what I mean by that. So that now that we've done what's for sale, we have to go back and do got any gossip, and I didn't listen to myself. I need to copy and paste this to make sure that it's exact, and it is, but still. Let's see. Bryn, I don't know how you spell this. stuck in a Minecraft again. And I just want to make sure that we have branching paths, right? So unfortunately, that does mean that there's quite a bit of data that needs to go in here. Also, yeah, okay. So like this isn't the cleanest way to view this either, right? This would be kind of confusing if you're trying to troubleshoot and test and maybe move stuff around. Um, this wouldn't be the easiest system. So the next time we'll be looking at Chatterbox, which has a whole interface that it's attached to and just makes the whole experience much cleaner. But maybe you don't need that for your game, you know? Maybe you don't need this huge, long, branching path system. And it makes more sense to do something like just this, just like a quick little struct that can hold all of the data. And yeah, this would be shopkeep, but this, like, we're storing this. We could also have, you know, shopkeep second conversation. We could have a whole different character and just store it in the same way. Just store it all in this struct. So let's see. Now this see you later, we're going to use this. This is what makes this a node-based approach, is that we don't like an array, right? An array searches for an index to like a specific position. And here we're saying it doesn't matter what the position is. At any time we can return to see you later, and that will like exit for us. Let me just get this right. Okay. I just want to double check. Let's see that we cleared everything out. We have welcome to my shop. Nice to see you. Nice to see you leads to what's for sale and got any gossip. What's for sale? This will automatically go to the shop. Got any gossip? We have Minecraft, and those names sound familiar. So we've got Minecraft like the game here. Okay, now I'm even more confused. But see, we don't have those names sound familiar. So we're missing a part of our branch. And so if we try to query it, if the user tries to go down that path, it's going to error. So we can go back. We just want to make sure that we close our loops, right? Those names sound familiar. Goes to the top text is then we're going to leave in, oh, well, we're going to add see you later. Again, we can just add this anywhere, and we haven't built it yet, but we will in a moment. Just want to make sure that we close all of our loops first. So okay. Yeah, this one just exits, right? That's the end of the path. So then it just goes to see you later. So we have see what's for sale. Got any gossip? Those names sound familiar. Got any real gossip? Minecraft like the game. Okay, now I'm even more confused. Yeah, okay, so we just have can I go now and see you later, these two, which are like exit ones, right? So first we'll do can I go now? I was actually wrong about this. These all exit to see you later. So we're just going to put that there. And then can I go now? No. This is the only screen in this game. And finally, the node that they all go to, right? See you later. Just got to double check. No periods, right? Okay. See you later. And yeah, we're going to add stuff here. Oh, whoops, this next action. Oh no. This needs to be no one for everything except... Where is it? So yeah, no one, no one, no one, no one. Yeah, just this what's for sale, right? Everything else is no one. Okay, cool. And then I think, yeah, the browse. I don't think I changed any of those, so I'm just going to do that here. Those names sound familiar. We'll do mad. Got any real gossip? We'll do surprised. Minecraft like the game. Mad. Okay, now I'm even more confused. Surprised. Can I go now regular? Okay. All right. So that looks good. Yeah, I think we're done with that. I guess we'll know if there's an error a little bit later on. Yeah, okay. Let's move on to the step event, which is almost the last part of this. There's a few more things after this, but the first thing we have to do is make the cursor, right? Sure, everything's still running. Okay. So if our choices exist, and the cursor does not, and this isn't necessarily the cleanest way to do this, it's just going to find one of the instances of object choice, and usually it actually finds the last one, but we only have two options. That's not too much of an issue. If you are building a game like this, you probably want a different method for choosing dialogue options anyways. So if the instance does not exist object choice, then delete the cursor. That's simple. Okay, now we need the functionality of the cursor, right? And I kept these as two blocks just to make it a little cleaner. You could combine them. I think I called this selected choice, not chosen choice, so I need to remember that in my notes. If selected choice equals 0, object cursor dot y equals yeah, okay. So whatever the current choices are, we're going to hold them in an array. The IDs of the instances that are created will be held in an array, and that's just referencing it. Let's do some quick notes on this. Cursor stuff and text stuff. Perfect. Okay. This is pretty standard. Just enum kind of stuff. So we're setting this new label, right, to the struct convos.shopkeep.welcome. That means new label contains all of the information, right? If this is a key value pair, its value, or, its key is this. So its value is all of these things. By saying new label equals, what we're saying is new label is now it contains this information. So we can then reference, like, we'll do this a little bit later, but new label dot choices, that kind of thing. Why would I write this out right now? We're about to do this. Okay. What are you choosing first? Okay. So here, just basic functionality kind of stuff so that the player can move the cursor around. This was built for 1 to 2 options. If you have more than that, you will need a little bit better of a system for this. And the reason why we set in the create event, we have choices as an array so that we can do things like check the length of the array without having to, actually look up if something is in a position, which would take longer. We'd have to like build a side function or something for it, or it would error. So, whoops. Right, arrays start at 0, and so it's just switching it. If it's 0, then change it to 1. Otherwise, change it to 0 because there's only 2 options. That's why you would need something a little bit better. So now if enter is pressed, right, which means like selecting that dialog option, okay, so I figured something out during testing. I actually need to change this to var label equals ooh. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll show it in a second. Let's see. If you can tell I'm not confident about this. Okay, there we go. So this is the accessor. This is what we use to pick up instead of like this dot. That dot's because like we know exactly where the position is. If we don't, we're like, I need you to search that and return whatever one of those strings is that we made, right? This is a little bit of a fancy way of doing it. We're just pulling it from the array based on the index of the choice being selected and just storing that in a variable so that we can, in testing, this worked a lot better when everything was a little bit more separate, not necessarily held in a controller object. So yeah, and if you have issues with this method at all, definitely or please reach out through my Discord, and I will try to work through it with you. So, what happens if, like, just a different method of functionality, right? Let's say that we tie 1, 2, 3, 4, all of those buttons to the choices. We can do the same thing here. We just have to change the selected choice. In this case, it would be 0. And in this case, 1. Okay. So lastly, we just need to set it, right? So, first we're setting up that next action, right? If there is a next action, and this can be like any function you want. I just kind of did it this way to make it easier. Room go to, whoops. Again, we're pulling that next action from new label. We're setting new label here, right? And then we're just going to be using it to check some stuff before we do this part. Now we're setting current label to the new label so that we can set. Yeah, we have these choices, right? These choices will be loaded with the data that we need. So how about instead of like switching out the choices with the new information, we just delete all of them right off the top and make new ones for whatever we need. It's actually way, way cleaner. And it's like 4 objects, you know, it's fine. I less than array length choices, I plus plus. And this is, we're making the choices, right? $100 plus $10.50 plus I times 50. Oh, whoops. This is 100 1050 plus I times 50. And that's just to make it, you know, go down in rows. And yeah, we set the text string to whatever the string is in the array. And then, yeah, finally, convo state equals convo state dot choosing. Okay, now we just really, really quickly, let's do the brow. Well, okay, actually first. Okay, it does appear there's an error. Let's see. Convo state starting goes to convo state setting. New label. Dialog text equals current label. Oh, we don't have a draw event, do we? Yeah, this isn't gonna work yet. Okay. Let's finish this here, and then we're not drawing the text that we just set up. So I guess there is an error. We just need to add the stuff. Brow1 dot y greater than brow y. What's your problem here? Oh, okay. Sorry. here. Got a little tilted after I thought there was an error. Brown1.y. Good. Okay, so we're just going to take this and do it for both of them. This is just really quick, quick and dirty animation. We can, well, not in that way. Just not very well done in terms of animation. And then the same thing for both of them. So yeah, we're just raising the eyebrows if surprised, lowering them if upset. Whoops. Okay, now we can add the draw event here and know if we actually have an error. So this is we're going to use draw text X so that it goes to the end of the line and goes back. And the space in between will be 35 since the font is 30, and 600 is how far across it goes before breaking to the next line. So test from here. Okay, nice to see you. Oh, there's something going on here. Let's see. Usually this happens because I forgot to put a break in. Break there, break there. So let's see. It's going to, I see here. This needs to, okay. Forgot to set the state, right? The next state. There we go. What's for sale? Got any gossip? Those names sound familiar. Minecraft like the game. Okay. Can I go now? See you later. All of that works. Something weird about the cursor here, if instance exists. Yeah, see, okay. I accidentally put this else statement, right? We're really saying if instance exists, object choice. If not, that's when we want you, whoa, okay. That's when we want you to delete the cursor. Right now it was flashing in and out constantly. So yeah, we can see, there we go. Now it's not flashing anymore. And yeah, we just have one more thing to make and then we're done with this. So I'm just gonna finish this up really quickly. Object, shop, title. We'll give it a placeholder just so I have something to drag around. And we'll say if keyboard check released, vk any key room go to room main, and then we just need to draw really quickly. And that's just so we can have something. Let's come into room shop, Yeah, we have nothing in here. So let's actually turn this grid on. Drop this right here. Maybe change these to 50 by 50. And I think drop this one like right there. That should be good. And I'm going to call time if this works. So we have welcome to the shop. What's for sale? Goes to the shop. Okay, apparently VK any key doesn't work. Oh, it's because this needs to be in the step event. So one more time. Come in here, press, what's for sale, shop. I see you, got any gossip? Got any real gossip? Eyebrows raise. No, I don't know, sorry. Yeah, there we go. It actually took me 2 minutes longer than last time, but hopefully that's a little bit more info. Yeah, so we can ask questions. Minecraft, like the game. Eyebrows go up and down. Okay, now I'm even more confused. Eyebrows go up. Can I go now? Easy. So, yeah. Look at that. And then see you later. No matter when you press it, always goes back. So easy, so simple. Yeah, that's this. Let's go back and see. So just want to go over again. This is working because we're loading in a variable convos.shopkeep.welcome. And we're doing that programmatically. You would change that based on the conversation that's being had. We could also do like welcome and then like welcome back. Welcome back. Do you not like that? Nice to see you again. And then, put a counter, see how many times that room has been entered, and then do welcome back if it's been entered before. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. You just have to make sure these line up. One thing I forgot to mention about this, or maybe I did and don't remember, is that these do have to be unique. These nice to see you, that, we can't have more than one keys that line up. But, it's a chance for you to be creative. Or, if you're looking for something that's a little bit more robust, we will be looking at Chatterbox next time, which it's like an external library for GameMaker, but they have a UI for it, so it helps you chart and plot and all of that. And it's very well thought out, but it's a little bit too much if you need a simple branching path for your game. So hopefully this helped you. If you have an issue with it, please reach out through Discord and I will try to figure it out. We can try to figure it out together. And as always, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Hey, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to see the next video where we use Chatterbox to create complex branching dialogue paths. And if you need help or have any suggestions, you can reach out through my Discord. And if you want to see how I combined this system with our last game, the point-and-click escape room, you can do that by becoming a member on Ko-Fi, link in the description. Speaking of which, I just wanted to give a huge thank you to my current Ko-Fi members. Your support keeps this channel growing in so many ways, including the idea for this video. So if you want to see how one of your ideas can become one of these videos, you can do that on Ko-Fi as well. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.